What's up guys, this is Adam from 3dmodersworld.com. Welcome to another Maya tutorial. Today I'm just gonna show you how to create this very cool camera projection in Maya, and we're gonna go through the extremely important details that we shouldn't skip, and then I'm gonna show you how tips and tricks how to get something looks pretty cool like that. So make sure to subscribe and like this video, and feel free to share it and spread the word. We always appreciate your guys' support, helping us so we can keep creating tutorials like that. So without further delay, let's get started. Okay guys, so I want to show you quickly, that's the image that we're gonna be using, and it's a pretty cool image. Actually this one shot in Kyoto. I found it online and it's pretty awesome to see all these details, and this kind of like camera angle and the composition is really cool for creating a camera projection out of it. So let me show you what I did. First thing, we want to create a camera projection. It's extremely important to think about what part of the image you're going to be painting over. So let me show you what I did here. So I split this image into like 3 parts. So the first part, which is the biggest painting job need to be done in the called BG statues, which have basically focusing on this background, painting out everything that's kind of between this statue and then between these statues and the background. So we're trying to get as much background as possible, so this way we can have a nice parallax going on. And then this one wasn't too important, so I didn't clean it very much. And this guy here needed to be painted out, and as you can see, lots of painting here. And the good thing about this image can be used for a lot of locations, which I'm going to be showing you later. And then of course we have our hero statue here in the middle, so I just painted out the one beside him and extended quickly the arms from this guy. You can see it's very rough. And then the most important thing here is we want to have a nice parallax between the arm and then the chest. So I kind of painted out the arm and then I filled up wherever the chest need to be here, and then it's the same with the body. So we have a more complete body going on here, and then this way we can have a one projection shader for this guy, the head and the body from this image. And then the last image, which is the other side of this statue, this guy, I just needed to paint out the hand that was here and then paint out everything here in between, so we can have a nice extension of this statue to get a nice parallax. So it's extremely important to kind of think about this stuff. I wouldn't say before you start. You could start without thinking about these things and then along the way figure out. That's one way to do it, but I kind of thought, I know I want to have a parallax here, and I know I need to have parallax in the background, so I just painted out these sections. So now let's jump into Maya, and then let's start setting up the scene. So first thing, let's go create camera, and now you can see we are in Maya 2022, which have a very interesting update I noticed for the camera. If you let's split the screen here and then go camera view and then go here perspective view, and then if you go here into view, this is within the camera settings. Make sure the undoable movement is checked. By default is not checked. So what that means, if it's checked right now, if I click undo after I moved it will undo be applied to the camera. If I have this camera settings undoable movement unchecked, and now I move the camera by accident and try to undo, nothing will really much happen. It's just undoing creating the camera, not undoing the camera movement. So that's something just to keep in mind when you start working this projection, just to make sure we go settings, camera settings, and click undoable movement. So whatever we move, we make the mistake, we can easily undo like that. Okay, so first let's bring the image, and then let's select our camera, and then we are in the camera settings here. Let's go environment, create, and then let's just bring it from our folders, and then Kyoto, open, and then we have nice the camera now. one important thing here, we just want to make sure we change the fit, displacement to fill. We want to make sure we're really filling the frame here. And then let's go quickly to the settings for render settings, and then let's change right away what's the render resolution we're going to be using. So right now I'm not going to bother with renderable camera because I'm going to be changing that. And then let's scroll. I want to make it like HD 1080, so that's good. So now if we click on the resolution gate, film gate, you can see now we have our projection filled up beyond the camera. So if you play with these settings and you start adjusting, let's say, you can see how it's shrinked, and we don't want that. We want to make sure it's really the full resolution, like this one. Okay, so this is out of the way. Now we want to start adjusting our camera to kind of match what this photography is. So what I like to do first is just create like a cube. So in this case we don't have really clear where the ground is. We're not sure where it is, so I'm not gonna start. I don't know if you guys watched the previous tutorials I had about creating camera projection. We had a clear ground, so it was kind of easy for us to figure out where to add our our ground. But this case is not very clear what's going on. So I'm just gonna create a cube, and then I'm not gonna rotate much the cube. I'm gonna be rotating the camera, and then kind of like try to figure out what's the proper alignment here. So just roughly like that. And then extremely important thing, if you can figure out what's the image, what's the camera focal length at least, that will be really helpful. And then I found that this camera, the photographer who took this image, he used a 85mm focal length. So let's immediately change that before we start modeling. So let's put this to 85. So now we got like the proper focal length that the person used. If you can't figure out the focal length, just try to kind of eyeball it and just see like which one feels more natural. For us here, we do have the focal length. So I'm not going to be rotating the cube right now and trying to do any of these things, because that's not going to help us right now. So we can see the face oriented this way. So I want to see the top, kind of more like a top view. And then also helps to look at from perspective. So you can see that does feel like similar. How the camera is oriented looking down, it feels kind of similar to the angle of this. Now it's not gonna be like super perfect, but it's gonna be like good enough, and then we can work from there. So what I want to do with this cube is I just want to quickly add subdivisions here to it, so I kind of have a nice base to start working from. So I'm gonna press 4, and what I like to do before start going crazy with the modeling, I just gonna quickly like do like a rough shape, just like that, just scaling. This is not gonna be perfect shape, but just like a rough one. Then I'm gonna duplicate this cube and position it down. And just keep rotating, the typical kind of modeling stuff, and then let's push it down like that. I just want to make sure I get lining up the chest line. If you see here, there's the chest line. I want to make sure I get that one really lined up nicely like that, and then we're gonna do also the back. So later I'm gonna be start like doing vertices and then moving the vertices around and really get the shape. But right now I'm just doing like super rough like pass, just to get an idea how is this projection gonna work. So I'm just gonna show you guys what I do, just duplicating rough, very rough geo. For me, because the highlight of this image is this middle statue, this like main statue. So I want to make sure I really get this guy to work really well. So I need to make sure this hand's really sticking out from the body. So here you can start flipping between wireframe and shaded mode, and just to get an idea if it feels right. As long as it feels correct, then you're good to go. So right this stage, I'm not gonna worry too much about the vertices lining up perfectly. Just want to make sure I get the position of the hands to feel like correct. And then let's rotate this hand, open it up more like that, and then let's just push. You want to make sure we don't push too much that we have gap here. We want to make sure it's always connected. Well, as long as everything connected, you're kind of good to go. You're not gonna have some weird behavior. So like that. And now extremely important thing is I want to make sure there's good distance. This chest here should be showing, well, you see there is a gap between this hand and then this hand. There's a chest area. I want to make sure in my projection it's gonna show, and it looks like it's showing. Maybe this one we need to push it back more away like this. Let me hide the grid. The grid's not helping us at all. So if we switch, you can see now we have more chest area in the middle. This chest area is very important because once we start animating, we want to really feel the parallax between this hand and then this hand. So that's exactly what I'm gonna be doing for the rest of this projection. I'm just gonna keep going and modeling, putting just rough cubes here and make sure everything is kind of feeling correct. So let's show you here. So for example, so this is the rough geo, and it's kind of lining up nicely right now. So what I'm gonna do, if I'm gonna do this guy in the side, I'm just gonna literally take this head and then I'm gonna duplicate and then move it. Press wireframe and then move it here to line up. So what happened here is you can get, and then of course, you know, scale and adjust and just make sure the top will be like the top, you know, so it's not like this, the facing the front is the top. So that's why you might need to rotate, and then later we're gonna, you know, just move the vertices like that, just lower some. So we kind of getting the accurate top view of the head is the top. So this way it's kind of important, these things, you know. We kind of just do some tweaks like that, you know, so we can get, let me just undo a little bit so we can get, and then this side you can lower it to get the nice arc. So we can lower this side more down, you know, and then lower this side down like that. So we just keep basically adjusting the vertices to get this face to feel really nice. And why it's important to duplicate and move around, so this way we keep relationship close to each other, and also like accurate, because you kinda, there is a distance between these statues. We're not extremely sure how far they spread apart, but there's, you know, at least something, you know, let's say a meter or something like that between each one of them, or 50 centi. So this is kind of feels more like a correct, and then so on and so forth. We just keep duplicating around until I get all the rough model in there, and then I start then adding more edge loops and then getting more the correct shape. So I'm gonna open the scene right now and then show you how after I did the modeling, because I don't wanna spend like an hour or so like modeling, and then it's not that important for you guys in this tutorial. So I'm just gonna skip that part and then show you the more important stuff. Okay, so now I have this scene. I already done the modeling, and you can see the modeling looks pretty strange. Like it doesn't look very interesting, but that's how I went through, and then I just modeled all these pieces. And then the thing here about the projection, I want to tell you guys, you want to model the least amount of detail and get the maximum result. You don't want to be replicating like almost a 3D scan of these objects. You want to make sure you just model enough that you can get all the details in there, so you can have a really nice projection. Because if you have like lots of projection to be doing like per day on a project, and you don't want to be like modeling every single detail of the model, then you're gonna spend so much time with that. So that's really important, just to get as quick as possible, and then stuff that looks kind of natural. So the thing here, you can see like I split them more like correctly distance wise, and then that's kind of important. So this way, whenever you're animating, it's kind of looks more nice, and there's parallax, but still there's nothing like looks floaty. Because you can see here, I have also like the camera animation, which is really simple, 2 keys. I locked the camera, but it's like a 2-key camera. If I unlock it, I can show you quickly. It's basically have a, sorry, 3 keys, not 2 keys. So you get like just so for camera animation, you just literally select the projection camera and then duplicate it. Make sure the focal length is still the same, and then you just like start moving it around within the range of the projection, you know. And then let me show you now. Now we're gonna start adding the shaders, which is I think is like the most important part. You could do this early on as well. You don't have to do it like toward the end, but as long as let me switch back to the projection camera. As long as you're getting these guys to look correct, you know. Now they look like too much because I have like all geo overlapping, but as long as you get them to look correct, it doesn't matter if you have the projection at the beginning or at the end, because the key part is like to get all these mesh to feel correct in the first place. So at the beginning, I'm just gonna create like a default shader. I'm just gonna select everything and then go assign new material, surface shader. Surface shader is really good for this kind of stuff, and then we're gonna call this proj shader main. You know, so this is just the main one, and then let's click on out color, and then on file just right click and then create as projection. That's important. And then let's keep everything as is, and then let's go select the file, and then I'm just gonna get the default image. And then let's keep everything the same here, and then let's go here to the original projection, and then make sure we click on perspective, and then camera projection attribute. That's very important. So we wanna make sure we link the correct camera. We don't want to link the second camera, which is the animation camera. We want to link the projection. So camera shape 1, and then we want to make sure here is fill, because we set it in fill and camera settings. So if I press 6 right now, you can see like we got everything projected correctly. So now let's go back to our animation camera for a second here, and then let's go through the animation here, and then you can see we have stretching here. Here's happening stretching around here, and then stretching in the back as well. So that's stretching basically here. You can see that's where the painting gonna come really handy. You can see. So we don't wanna have like that. We wanna make sure we have clean projection. So first thing we can do is let's select all these guys, and then we can just assign. We can assign to these the other projection. So let's go like this, and then let me just duplicate this. Duplicate shading network. And then we're gonna call this one like let's just call it BG. Simple. And then let's just select the BG statues, which is this one. Okay, all good. And then let's do the same. Let's just select all these guys. And I think we can select this guy. I believe we can always adjust if I did a mistake. So assign material. And then let's see. Let's start just scrubbing through the animation. Okay, so here we didn't fix this issue. Let me just double check, make sure I'm selecting the correct one. Okay, that's okay. So this guy we need to assign a new shader. And this guy we need to assign a new shader. Okay. So let me select this one. This one we need to assign it that the shader I was talking about. This it's the body, main statue body, this one. Okay, so let's do that. So let's the easiest thing is just let's duplicate the projection shader here. edit, duplicate shading network. Now it's gonna be duplicating the camera as well, but we don't need to worry about that. We can fix it really easily. So we're gonna call this like main statue. So I'll show you guys how, if there's issues happen, how to fix it. Okay, so this is the main statue body. Yeah, that's the one we want. And then let's just select it. Main statue body. Assign material. Let's see what happened. Okay, so this is good. So this guy, let's give it the main statue body as well. Main statue. Okay, good. So now you can see why I give this the main statue, because if you look at the main statue body, it's painted already this area, so that's perfect. Okay, so close. Okay, so let's see what else. Okay, so this is all good. Now we have this one working, this one working. Now we can see parallax here, fingers and the body. So that's mean this guy, we need to assign it a new shader. Okay, so let's go to before, and then let's go select, just clear this area. Select this shader, duplicate shading network, and then let's select it, and then let's see, what did we call this one? BG statue, not BG statue, we call it mid statue. Okay, so let's call it the same, so this way it doesn't get super confusing. Statue. Okay, so now we're good. I just want to make sure also we assign the actual image, otherwise it's not gonna work. Okay, so we got the image, and then let's just select this guy, then mid statue, and then assign material. So you can see how things change immediately here. You can see now we got a much cleaner projection in this area and this area. So that's really the key here, just to get like clean paint of the stuff that it's kind of like a parallaxing, and then it's showing this anything stretching. That's where it can be your guide to where to paint. So you could paint very beginning, or you could paint toward the end. It's like up to you. And sometimes it's good to start doing the animation and the main projection, and then see which area is stretching and just paint those, and then you're done. So you can see it's pretty cool now. And then another fun part of projection, just make sure try to do like some cool camera angle, and then try to make it, you know, moving as much as possible, but without, you know, going like too crazy. Like if I try to do something too much, then we're gonna start breaking the projection and showing this weird things. So I want to make sure the perspective here is a good example of how things could looks very weird if you're not following the camera angle. So as long as you're like within the camera angle, you can get some pretty good results, and like it's pretty fun. Camera projections is actually really fun stuff, and it's very satisfying to see like an image comes to life, you know, especially if you have some cool images. So another thing I want to just show you before we finish the tutorial here is, like you can see here, I have like lots of cameras get duplicated whenever I duplicate shader. So it's very easy. You can just literally delete these cameras, delete them all, and then you can see here we just have the two cameras. Now everything get messed up. It's easy fix. What we're gonna do, because all these camera was projections as well, so get disconnected. So we just select the shader and we go through one by one, make sure we got in the camera projection, we connect it to camera 1, and then we go to this guy. It's already have camera 1, so that's good. And then make sure it's camera 1 and it's fill, so all good here. And let's go back and then make sure selected camera 1. So we connected all, so now it's back, it's working. So the duplication of the shader duplicate the camera, because we're duplicating everything, but that's okay. You can easily delete the camera, and like what you saw, I just like reconnected everything to the original camera, and then we're good to go. So that's it, guys. You can see it's pretty cool and fun stuff to do with camera projection. Let me know what you think. Let me know if this tutorial was helpful for you, or if you have any suggestions or any ideas for future tutorials, or feel free to reach out and be happy to help you. So thank you so much and have a great day.